because what I want to do, now that I've got all my tabs over here, I'm going to basically install these pictures over in this picture over here. Do I need this at all? Do I need that? I'm guessing not. Anyway, I'll grab my move tool and just drag it over here. Might take a few moments because this is a not a huge file, but not too bad. And this is actually pretty close to the size I want it. We do need to scale it down a bit. While I'm here, I'm going to relabel my layer here. I'll call this batter. And all I did was double-clicked on the word that said layer, and then it highlighted, and I was able to type it in, then hit enter to finish up the change. I'll do that a couple of more times. Well, now that I've got this picture in here, I don't even need this picture available, so I'll just close this and hit this little X right there. Do I want to save it? No. The lake, okay, let's grab the lake. I've got the move tool. Let's go drag it over here. Okay. Now this stuff is kind of on the large side right now, but that's okay. And I'll go back over here to layer, so you can see this, layer, and I'll double click it and rename it lake. I'm going to leave this video on, or the masking on here for a little bit so you can see a little bit clearer. I'll go back to the lake file, close the lake window. Do I want to save any changes? No. And I've got the kids here, so I will just drag this one in down here. Let Photoshop think about it for a moment. That's a pretty big file. Oh, excuse me, I'm going to have a sneeze coming up. I'm going to move my mic away just a moment. Sorry about that. Okay. So I will relabel this with the kids and call it kids. And I've got the sneezes tonight, sorry. Okay, and don't save this. Then I've got the state, and actually it's in the wrong color mode. This says index. We need to be in RGB. Let's see if I can just drag this in here and see what it does. Thinking about it? I don't think that worked. No? Okay. Yeah, when that doesn't work, what we've got to do is actually change the color mode to RGB. And of course we'll do that over here in the image menu. Go down to mode and go to RGB. Now we can bring this in directly. And then you might get this thing saying, are you sure you want to convert colors? Sure, why not? Okay. And I'll move this guy over here for a little bit. By the way, once we change from index to RGB, it changed right there. Okay. We don't need this window any longer, so I'll close this. Make any changes? No. And we'll focus on the, we'll focus on this window and all the different things that are going on here. I'll hit the letter F so we can get a better look. Great. Okay. Now if you look over here in the stack, by the way, I'll relabel this and call this state. That's fine. Okay, and I've pretty much, if I'm not mistaken, I have all my layers renamed, so it's a little bit clearer to me. I'm going to close adjustments, so I've got a little bit more room. Okay, let's turn a few things off. Let's start off with the batter one. So I will turn off lake, and I will turn off the visibility of kids, and I will turn off the visibility of the state. Okay, now the first thing I really want to do is to scale and rotate this batter. It's a little bit big, so I will click and activate the batter layer and go over to my friend the edit menu and go down to free transform. Just keep in mind, free transform does scaling and rotating. Now the first thing I want to do is probably rotate a little bit. I like the idea of rotating about 15 degrees. Now as I rotate here, you might want to take a look at these guys changing up here. This is the rotational thing telling me how many degrees I've turned. And then we've got two things over here, the scale of the I'm sorry, right here, the scale of the width and the scale of the height. And if you want to have it scale proportionally, just automatically you click that link right there. But you can also just do this. I'm going to scale this down. Oops, sorry, let me undo that. Gotta make sure my cursor has those two arrows going in opposite directions there. As I scale this down, I can also hold down the Shift key, and that will keep this proportional. Now I want my image to be kind of on the larger side, but not terribly large. And I'm going to guess that's pretty close right there. What I'm going to do, like I said before, is try to rotate my degrees angle there and get a little bit more towards 15 degrees. And you can see it's going up to about 11 degrees right now. And keep going a little bit more. Maybe a little bit too much right there. I'd say right about there. Okay, and that's minus 11.6 degrees. That's okay. And I think I'm going to move this off the page just a little bit more. And as you can see, my picture of the baseball guy is covering the Gateway Arch, which, being probably the strongest symbol for Missouri and St. Louis, probably not a cool thing. I'm going to make a little change later that will make this more fun. But as to this placement of the picture, this is cool. So I'm going to hit the check mark here, and I'm pretty happy. Okay, let's try one of the other images, and that is the lake. So there's the lake, and that image is a little big as well, so I'm going to hit the keyboard shortcut this time. Well, I'll show you the keyboard shortcut for the free transform tool is Command T. Get to know and love this one, because this is a good one. It would be helpful if I didn't try to edit the same layer I've already edited. So I'll activate the lake layer now, and now do free transform. Great. And I'm going to rotate this one in a slightly different direction. I don't think the rotation is going to be as strong this time. I like what's happening there, so I'll click in this and move this up a little bit higher. And I might even scale this down just a little bit. Again, oops, when you scale, you might want to hold down the Shift key as well so that it scales proportionally. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. Now you'll notice that I've still got this kind of thing going on where I'm covering the arch just a little bit. This is a slightly different case here, but I actually do want to have this cover just a little bit of the arch. Okay, and I also want to have a bit of the corners of my images kind of going off screen like what we've got going on here, and it could go on a little bit more obviously right here. A little bit more. Maybe push that. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. So if I'm happy with that, I'm going to click the checkbox. Okay, I'll hit Command 0 to fit my window back on screen. And I think I don't want to have a big long movie like I did last week, so I'm going to stop right here and meet you at the next movie.